Well, hello again, everyone. I'm Sam Valenti here with another one-on-one interview. Today's guest is one of the most iconic national anthem singers in all of sports. He is a Windy City legend, best known as the anthem singer for the NHL's Chicago Blackhawks, and he has done so much more. The one and only Jim Cornelison. Jim, it is such an honor to be talking with you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's funny how we got connected, huh? Through mutual
Yeah. I
acquaintances.
know, right? Pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah. How long have you known him, man? How long
Known
have
Heyman.
you been connected? Yeah.
4 or 5 years. We both belong to kind of a creative entrepreneurial incubator. And it's really been a great place for me just to be around successful, industrious, creative people, whether it's singers or managers or artists or whatever. Because a huge part of my life, I go to events by myself and sing the national anthem or, well, back home again in Indiana for the Indianapolis 500. But the point being, lots and lots of people, but I'm generally there by myself. So it's great to have a community of um, creative, industrious people that I can be in touch with, and adds a lot to my life.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into kind of the questions and stuff, I have to mention this. I was at the Bears Packers game, a few weeks ago.
Oh,
I was there. And the game itself was not great. The result wasn't great. But hearing you sing the anthem live, 100% best part of the game, and made sitting through a tough performance by the Bears made it all worth it.
I had a great day that day. The crowd, of course, cheers like they do at a Blackhawk game, right? But you got 60 plus thousand people cheering, and so there's like a different vibe to it. And of course, we had to fly over afterwards, which was it's pretty awesome whenever you see those come over a football stadium, right? And the day itself was just gorgeous. So hey, I can't complain about that day. It was pretty awesome. I wish the Bears had won. I'm tired of seeing the Packers get the best of us.
Yeah. No, it's tough, but seriously, it was an amazing experience, and and where I was sitting and stuff, it was great. That when you got to the flag, when the flag was still their part, everyone did the gesture, towards the flag, and I love that.
Yeah, that's been really fun to watch develop over the years. I think I first started doing that in 2009 during the playoffs, and I did it. I used to do kind of an understated version of it, where I just held my hand kind of. It's hard for you to see, but no higher than my shoulder really, and palm up, and then I held it higher once, and I heard a little reaction from the crowd, and that was interesting. So I did a little higher again, and they kind of like roared, and then I was like, okay, here we go. But it's been fun to watch the way that people have responded to that over the years now. So in the United Center, you see, so many people who do the hand gesture uh, with me. It's just neat. It's fun. Leave my little mark.
Yep, absolutely. And just one more thing about the Bears. The Bears are probably going to be, they'll have probably a new stadium in the future, likely in Arlington Heights. I'm telling you, if that new stadium, hosts the Super Bowl, I think you have to sing the anthem. You have to.
I hope so. But like I tell people when they say things to me like, "Hey, you should do a Super Bowl," and I'm like, "Yeah, that would be great." But I don't get to hire myself, so I do a lot of events. I've done some wonderful events, and I would absolutely love to do a Super Bowl. Certainly a bucket list item, but who knows? I don't get to hire myself.
Well. Hey, if it ever comes to that, I think the NFL has a pretty easy choice for who should do the anthem that day. So
Well, I appreciate your vote of confidence. I know that my name has been up for it before, but just think about how many people would like to do that. How many really, really well known people, famous people, iconic groups or artists, So pretty special thing.
Yeah, definitely. So now I kind of want to just kind of get into a little bit about your background and stuff. I saw that you grew up in Washington State. I'm kind of wondering, just how did you get interested in singing, and what was the point that you realized that you had such a golden voice?
Hmm. Well, I grew up in a family that would sing a lot, like on road trips and stuff like that, or in church. I didn't stand out particularly. I mean, I remember doing a solo when I was 8 or 9 years old in church. I was asked to sing Old Rugged Cross for a Sunday service. And I think I was most excited about that because somewhere in like the third verse or something of Old Rugged Cross, I got to say the word damn. So that was exciting to me as an 8-year-old. But then again, I didn't really sing until my last semester of high school. I did a jazz choir. I needed a credit to graduate, and that seemed like a pretty easy thing to do. So, and then after that, I went to college. I joined choir. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do with myself. I was taking piano lessons also. And at the end of that year, a professor called me in his office and he said, "Hey, Jim, are you serious about music?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really like it." Um, and he said, "Well, you're not a very good piano player. In fact, you're nowhere near the level that you need to be if what you want to do is pursue music." And he says, yeah, I kind of, okay, well, that's nice to hear. But he said, "But you should sing. You should pursue voice because I think you might really have something there." And or he said study voice actually, and I didn't even know what that meant. Right, small town country boy. Um, I mean, I say country boy. I mean, my school district went on asparagus schedule every spring because we so many of us would go out and cut asparagus in the morning, right? So studying voice, it didn't make sense to me, but I thought, okay, well, I'll try that. So that was one indicator, but that was a small school, a community college. But then I got some scholarships to go to a 4-year institution. Then I went to Indiana University, which is the largest music school in the world, and I was able to excel there. Um, Nobody ever told me you can't do this. Nobody ever said there was a limit. So I kept going. I was always encouraged to go, and I loved it. And I sang opera up until 07. And then 08, 09, that's the first season of the Blackhawks. They came to me in spring of 08 and asked, "Do you want to do the national anthems?" And it was great timing, things I could never control. For example, the owner of the team died, Bill Wirtz, right? And his son Rocky took over, and the Blackhawks had not been on TV. Well, Rocky decided to put them on TV locally. They'd only been on TV if it was an NBC national game, but locally they were never shown on TV. So they asked me to do the anthem. Now I'm on television 50 times a year. And it's at the same time we get these two new young recruits, Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. And, we go to the Western Conference Finals the first year. We had the first ever Winter Classic that first year, which I sang against the Detroit Red Wings. And then the next year we won the Stanley Cup. I mean, holy moly, it just was it was just such an unexpected and fast-paced turn of events. And yeah, that's been it. I think of myself more as a sports marketing asset now than an opera singer. I mean, the anthem is a minute 36, a minute 38. Back home again in Indiana is maybe a minute 15, minute 20. But I spend a lot of time doing suite visits, taking pictures, talking to fans, talking to the press, doing all these other things as I try to respond to the environment and the fans of racing, the fans of hockey. It's a real honor to be kind of in the middle of all that, even though it's a course or a destiny, if you will, that I never foresaw, or I guess I chose it as it presented itself. But it's been a great journey.
Yes, 100%. And like you mentioned, sometimes timing is everything. And I think it's just so amazing that right when you started singing the anthem for the Hawks. Then we had, what is pretty much become, the golden era of Blackhawks hockey, with the 3 Stanley Cups in 6 years. And I think it's kind of amazing how you came in and then then we saw what is, a modern day dynasty.
Yeah, I think it was a happy marriage. Luck. I'm a big fan of the definition of luck when preparation meets opportunity. And so that's what happened for me. It was a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic platform, and I was prepared to step into that, and it's played itself out very, very well.
Yeah.
Hopefully now, I mean, the energy is with Bedard, with some of the new drafts. Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane are both gone. It feels like the end of an era, but we're all optimistic about it being the beginning of a new one.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it feels like the whole city is just super excited about the Connor Bedard era beginning, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be a lot of fun nights at the United Center this year.
Yes, yes, and we've had administrative changes at the Blackhawks, and when that happens, a lot of people come in, kind of out with the old guard, in with the new guard. So we got a lot of young people who are part of the team now who were not around when we won the Stanley Cups, but they see some of us that have the rings or whatever, and you can see this anticipation and hope, that they're going to be part of something like that. That's going to be part of their near future, and so the excitement within the organization is really palpable right now, and it's fun to be part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Now I have to ask this, now let's go back to your first performance at the United Center doing the anthem. What do you remember from that first performance? What was going through your head, during that whole experience?
Well, the first performance I did was in, I think, the winter of 1996. I had been invited to Chicago by the Lyric Opera of Chicago to be part of their apprentice program. So I was singing every day and on a big stage, sometimes with the orchestra. And an orchestra makes a lot of noise. And in opera, you're not amplified, right? You have to carry, your voice has to carry over and through the orchestra without a microphone. So you're used to making a lot of noise and you're used to there being a lot of noise around you. So I felt very confident going in and doing the anthem the first time. But what caught me off guard, what I did not expect, was that while there are similarities, like when you're standing in the middle of an orchestra and the sound of the orchestra swells up and you're in the middle of that, it's a rush. You can feel a lot of emotion from it. I was shocked at how much emotion I felt from the cheering of the fans. So when you're on the ice and you have, maybe at that time, the games weren't so well attended, but let's say you had 10,000 people there, but they were committed Blackhawk fans and they cheered. And when you're on the ice and you're in the middle of that, I don't know, what do you feel when somebody yells at you? Somebody's like, yeah, or, yeah, could be angry, could be happy, but we are programmed as people to respond when people direct their energy at us vocally, right? Whether just loudly. And so as I got into it and the crowd really roared, I just had a way more powerful emotional reaction than I expected. And I started to become choked up, right? Emotional, you get choked up, which means it is as the phrase says, you start to feel it in here, right? Somebody's voice cracks because they feel upset or whatever. So that's not a good thing for a singer. I had to kind of disconnect and calm down, and I was just surprised by how strong that had come up, and then all of a sudden I kind of found myself in I don't want to say an emergency, that might be too strong, but certainly a situation where I had to respond, calm myself down, and reorient to just doing the job in a more disconnected way because I couldn't let myself get sucked into all of that. It was exciting, you know. Yeah, I still like come off the ice and I'm always in a better mood than when I walked on the ice. You know, I can go in the middle of January and it's freezing cold and I'd rather stay at home and watch the game. Walk out there on the ice, maybe even have a cold or something, right? When I walk off the ice after the cheering from the fans and everything, I'm always in a better place. Always feel good.
Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like it's kind of an energizing thing, you know. And you got just all the fans cheering stuff, just all the noise, and you're out there just belting it out. It's just, you know, I'm sure it's like it gives you this great, you know, kind of energized feeling.
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy it. And it's been 15 years. So, you know, I've also taken a lot of pleasure in the years over the reactions of the military people who come out on the ice. So we'll have an active duty person, we'll have a veteran or two, and they're on the ice next to me, and they're not used to being there. You know, all the pomp and circumstance and lights and sound and everything just happening, activity in that pregame ceremony or show, and then it culminates with the anthem. They're standing out there and they're a part of all of that, right in the middle of it. And then you know, we do the anthem, the fans cheer, and it's been really great to see the responses of those people who will say, "Hey, man, I got goosebumps," or there's somebody's tearing up, or somebody's just got a big smile, or every once in a while I get just a spontaneous hug, you know, and it means a lot to them, you know, and they feel the love in a sense, and it's really neat to be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to ask you about about a performance that you did, because you know you because we were talking earlier about obviously, you know, you've sang the anthem at Bears games before, but I got to ask you about a performance that I'm sure probably meant a lot to you. You know, the Seahawks and Bears had a playoff game in 2011, and you know you're from Washington State. I believe you grew up, you know, pretty big Seahawks fans. So what did that mean to you to sing the anthem as the Bears and Seahawks played in the playoffs?
Well, that was awesome. I mean, I loved it because I love both the teams, but I was cheering for the Bears. I will say, honestly, it's just I've been in Chicago since 1995, and while I'll cheer for the Seahawks in any other situation, against the Bears, I just or any, you know, that's true with any Chicago team. There's no city, starting with the Lyric Opera back in you know, '95 as I came there, and then my association, long time now, with the Blackhawks doing the anthem and 3 Stanley Cups and the 3 rings they gave me, all of this. Um, there's no city it's going to do for me what Chicago's done, and I feel that pretty deeply. So it's easy. It's an easy choice for me. I cheer for the Bears.
Hey, that's what I like to hear, man. Man, ride with the Bears. I like it.
Yeah, and it worked out last night, so that's awesome.
Yes, it did. I know. Can you believe it? We won a game. Ah, it's great. So
I
yeah.
actually feel a little bit I was optimistic at the beginning of the game of the year, and then we had the Bears Packers game you referred to, and that didn't feel good. It wasn't what anybody expected. But then last Sunday we had this incredible first half, um, and then this last night we had a great first half and a pretty solid second half, and we won the game. And to see, I feel like we're really seeing an uptick in terms of Justin Fields' play, but everybody's play, honestly, and everybody's coaching. So that's exciting to see, and I'm really hoping that we see more. You know, we have more good news as the season continues,
Yep, I
and we beat
definitely.
the Packers.
Oh, yes, yeah, exactly. Yep. Definitely agree with you there. Uh, so you know, I want to mention, you know, your work with the Indy 500, obviously, doing back home in Indiana, because that, you know, that's something that I love as well. You know, of course, you know, you're like really well known to racing fans, you know, for that. So, you know, how did that start? How did that come about? How did that start?
Oh, you know, in the spring, I think around March, I'm not sure, February, March, something like that. of 2017, I got a call, and it was from Alex Dameron with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is surreal. Now, to be honest, for about 2 years, I had kind of thought, like, how fun would it be to go do that, you know? And the reason I thought of that is, I went to school at Indiana University, and so I was certainly plugged into what the race is and kind of, the tradition and everything there. Lost my train of thought for a minute with the race. And but I had seen on social media, I had seen numerous, after Jim Neighbors said he wasn't going to do it anymore. They had a couple different people, and they were kind of exploring options. And I saw a number of fans post things on social media. They should get Cornelison. They should get Cornelison. He went to Indiana University. He's blah, 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 So I thought, wow, that would be really cool if that happened. And then I got that phone call from the guy from the track, and it was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was, it just felt surreal. And they asked if I wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So they gave me complete leeway, to do it however I wanted to. I could use the Purdue band or not use the Purdue band, for example. And of course, traditionally, the Purdue band has been there for decades. And so, yeah, that was very exciting. I can tell you after that call, I just kind of like was pacing around the room going, oh my God, this is awesome. Because what people might not realize is it's the largest single day sporting event in the world, right? Last year we had almost 350,000 people there. Now, I don't care what football stadium you're in. The Big House in Michigan you might get 115,000 people in there. I'm not sure what the Cowboys stadium holds, but none of them hold anywhere near 350,000 people. It's just a massive, massive event. I encourage anybody to go who just wants to see a great American tradition. You don't have to be a race fan. There's so much happening, and it's just like they say, the greatest spectacle in racing. It's a very, very exciting thing to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine for you, it's so cool. I mean, you have that massive, massive crowd, and your voice is echoing out to everyone. And I can just imagine like how just cool that is.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest sound system in the world, honestly. It goes all the way around the 2.5 mile track. So, when we do the dress rehearsal, which we always do on Saturday before the game, the race is always on the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And when we do that rehearsal and there's nobody around, but I could hear the booming and the echoing just from everywhere, right? Because some of those speakers have got to be half a mile away from me. But you get the reverb, you get the delay, and it's just, I don't know. It's all pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. And just that, I haven't been to the Indy 500, but I have been to the Brickyard. I've been to the track, and it's beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it's just a wonderful, wonderful venue. So much history there.
It really is. We had one year after a dress rehearsal. I was out there with Doug Bowles, a couple of other people. Doug Bowles is the president of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and one of the guys came by with a pickup truck on the track, and we all sat on the tailgate and we cracked open a beer, and we're just sitting on the track. It was a beautiful night, starting to sunset, a little breeze, and you're just looking around. The track is all dressed up for the race the next day. And you just had this powerful sense of like a field of dreams, right? If you build it, they will come. And you think about how that movie had the ghosts, the baseball player, kind of the ghosts of the past walking in. And you think about that a little bit too, because, people have died on that track. It's really it's a dangerous thing, even though, wow, now I can't believe how much safer the cars are and the kinds of wrecks that guys just get up and walk away from it. But yeah, great tradition. Fantastic event. Very happy to be part of that.
Yeah, 100%. And and just, and I think it's amazing that obviously, you're so well known, for doing the anthem, in all these different sports events. And I think it's great that a lot of national media attention, know that you've been able to get that. I think it's so cool. I saw you're on like the Harry Connick Jr. show,
Yeah.
stuff, and on freaking NBC News. Got these like big news outlets doing stories and reports on you, and I just think that's so awesome, man. I mean, you must feel kind of like a rock star in a way.
Well, I don't know. Um, I'm too heavy to be a rock star. Aren't rock stars all skinny? Isn't that how the song goes? We all stay skinny because we just don't eat.
Yeah.
But be a rock star anyway. It's surreal. I'll say that. When I was an opera singer, I could go anywhere and maybe somebody would recognize me, but probably not. Now I go places around Chicago, Indianapolis, even nationally. I'm shocked that people will come up and say hello. And being so much more recognizable makes you a little more self-conscious about how you know, interact with people or conduct yourself. Not that I was ever really bad in how, I mean, I'm a dad, I have kids, but still makes you a little more, self-conscious. I did a Colbert Report for the 200th anniversary of the anthem. That was awesome. Steve Colbert came in my dressing room after the show and we sang it together. That was kind of fun. Harry Connick Jr., we did that. I had a great experience here in Indianapolis. Just I went to blank on the name of the restaurant, uh, Tinker Street restaurant, and Dave Letterman came in with his family, and I was my friend was like, "Hey, there's Dave Letterman." I'm like, "Oh wow." He said, "You should go say hi." And I go, "No, I don't want to bug him. It's not my style, really." But after him and the girl I was dating at the time, like bugged me for about half an hour, I thought, okay, fine, I'll go say hi. So I went over and I said hi. Turns out I'd been by the teams. He has the Ray Hall, Bobby Ray Hall, David Letterman, Mike Lanigan race team, RLL Racing, right? IndyCar race team. And I dropped some stuff off over at their trailer earlier that day. So I just went by and I said, "Hey, Dave, I just don't want to take a lot of your time. I just wanted to say hi, introduce myself." And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he knew I was right away, and that was really cool, man. And so we talked a little bit. I met his sister and his assistant, and his nephew, and another friend of his, and we just talked, and it was really pleasant, really nice. And so the next year, I get a call from his assistant, Mary, and they're like, "Hey, are you going to be at Tinker Street again?" And it's like, I guess so. I haven't made plans." And he said, "Well, Dave was thinking maybe you sing something for us this year." So at Tinker Street, he got up after dinner and did this great introduction, and I sang some O Sole Mio for everybody in the restaurant, and then he did a piece on his podcast and about that event. Um, that was pretty cool. And so last year I dropped by. I was at Tinker Street again and able to buy Dave and his family dinner and talk with him a little bit. And it just what a cool thing. Nothing that I planned, nothing you can expect, but just um, great opportunities. It's when I stop and reflect on it, I'm like, Jim, you complain sometimes about things, but you really don't have a lot to complain about when it comes to how things are going in life.
Wow, wow. I mean that's amazing. That's just so it's so awesome to hear about, and I think that's really cool about how with the platform and you have and stuff, and with the stuff you've been able to do, you've really been able to make like a lot of great connections and stuff. Like you mentioned with Dave Letterman and stuff, you're able to make these awesome connections with people, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been neat. I find like I've gotten to know a number of CEOs like Jim Skinner, who is a past CEO of McDonald's, and Greg Brown is CEO of Motorola, and others that are uh, in elevated positions in the business world and other, professional athletes. And it's been, yeah, it's been really neat. It's been really neat. I did an anthem in the middle of a Smashing Pumpkins concert. Um, Jimmy Chamberlain, the drummer, came to me and said, "Hey, Billy and I were talking. We would like you to do this in the middle of our song U.S." And there you go. There's my rock star moment right there. I was able to walk out on stage. Of course, I had on my suit and tie, and I looked like, I'm somebody's teacher or lawyer or something. I don't know, but I walked out there and I did the anthem, and that was really another just unexpected, wonderful opportunity that came through.
Man, that is amazing. That's truly amazing. And and that's the crazy thing is that you've had so many amazing performances, so many different venues and stuff. Is there, I'm not sure if there is, but is there a performance like a single one that really kind of stands out to you as maybe your number one?
That's hard to think of, like, what's a number one, because there's kind of different agendas for them, right? Like when we had Game 7 against the Detroit Red Wings in 2013, we had been down 3-1 in the series, and we came back to a Game 7. So now we're 3-3. We have a game in Chicago, and I'm out on the ice with the military guy and the vet, and we're waiting for the introduction, and normally, like at the end of the introduction, right as the organ starts playing the intro to the anthem, well, people will start cheering somewhere in there, or once I start singing, they'll start cheering. That's normal. But this night, they just turned the lights on us before Gene Honda even started the introduction, and people just exploded. There was so much energy in the room. You could hardly hear Gene Honda talking. It was like, oh my God. I mean, look, you knew there was some noise happening, but it was just barely getting through the crowd. And then it started doing the anthem, and it was just unbelievably loud throughout the entire thing. And I don't know if there's been an anthem where the decibel meter's gone higher. If it hasn't gone much higher, but there is no anthem where the crowd cheered from beginning before it even started all the way through with so much volume, so much excitement. That has stood out in my mind, always will. And then the 9/11 Bears Falcons game, that was pretty incredible, a 10-year remembrance of 9/11. And there was the moment of silence, and both teams came out and they held the flag, football field size flag, out like that. And I did the anthem for that. And that was for all the games in that time slot, which was a noon time slot. Fox News cut to all the local markets, all the regional markets. They cut to that game introduction of the Bears, and I was lucky to be the one who sang that. That was pretty special. So you can see how those are two very different agendas, right? I mean, one is like just the hockey, the excitement of the playoffs, the long-standing rivalry between the Blackhawks and the Red Wings, how loud it can get inside the United Center, which of course is covered, where Soldier Field's wide open, versus something that was a tragic and horrible day for our country, and being part of the remembrance of that was very special.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some, those are some really, big moments, absolutely, to be a part of. I remember watching live the Game 7, the Hawks and the Red Wings, and I remember just exploding whenever Seabrook scored in overtime, and we went out to the conference final, and I remember that moment will always stick out in my head. It's just I was going nuts, and such an amazing time.
Yeah, there's been like 2 triple overtime games that I've been at, and it's exhausting as a fan to be at a triple overtime game. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time. It's like a second hockey game, right?
Mm.
And of course, they've changed the format now, so you don't really get that. I don't know. Maybe in the playoffs they haven't changed it. I don't know. But in the regular season, they've changed that format, right? Where we'll go to 4-on-4, and yeah. So that was one of those kind of games, where you just like, oh my God, you just wanted it so bad. Yeah, when that shot went in, it was it was relief and excitement all at once. Pretty exciting.
Yep, absolutely. So it's the last question here. Just we kind of talking about this earlier. Just what's the feeling? For you, going into the new season of Blackhawks hockey. Just what's the feeling? How excited are you? Just tell me all about it.
Well, I'm definitely excited. I mean, when Jonathan Taves retired at the end of last season, it was like, wow, that's really the end of an era. And then for this to come through with Bedard, plus a lot of these other really great draft picks we have, right? And we have like Corey Perry and I'm blanking the other guy's name right now. I mean, these were guys who were like MVPs in the past years in the league who can help guide this team and provide some experience and leadership. So it's hard to know how this season will go, but I'll tell you in the first couple of games, watching some of the highlights of Bedard play, very exciting, very, very exciting to watch. And at the same time, while we have that to like go, wow, this is incredible, we have the potential through more freedom in the salary cap and all these different draft picks to really build something and start this new era. And that's what everybody's so excited about. And of course, I'm excited about it too. But I also remember when we won those Stanley Cups, we were able to put 4 lines out. Even Patrick Kane, as great as he was, he'd play 20 minutes out of 60 minutes. And that's going to be true of Bedard too. So it really has to be a full team. You think of all those great players we had on those Stanley Cup teams, right? Taves and Kane and Hossa. And then you think of like the guys like super solid, super great, like Sharp, who was just had such a great nose for the puck. I know I'm leaving people out. I'm sorry, but it's just then you have guys who just raised their game to a level I don't think they even knew they could play at, like Bufflin. The way he controlled the front of the net in 2010, and guys who came along and played like what Panarin had. He and Kane had such chemistry there towards the end. And I don't know, man. It's we got to put all those pieces together. Not to mention we had 2 all-star, all-pro quality defensive lines in Ethan Seabrook and in Hjalmarsson and Oduya. These were incredible defensive lines. So we got some work to do to get to that kind of level where we can expect to compete for a cup. But right now, yeah, things are looking really good, and they're exciting.
Yes, absolutely. Some very fun times in Chicago right now, and hopefully in the very near future, we can we can hear your voice back again singing the anthem at a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Uh,
those were some fun times.
yes, absolutely. And hey, you never know. Hopefully in the near future we can do it again, man. So
I hope so. I
yeah.
hope so. That'd be great.
Absolutely. But seriously, Jim, thank you so much for letting me speak with you today. Truly an honor, honestly.
Well, thanks, Sam. Yeah, very happy to be able to accommodate.
Yes, of course. And hey, just once again, just thank you. And I hope you have an amazing, rest of your day, and good luck with your workout as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Now I feel obligated to do it.